Welcome back. We are lining up for the women's gold medal match. I'm here with Steve Wright, coach of Ellipsis. You've had a cracking tournament so far. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you've been going?
Yeah, it's been a fantastic tournament from the team so far. We've had some challenging games along the way, but we've dealt with those challenges really effectively so far. So we're feeling quite confident going to this game, but obviously not at all complacent because Manly are a really strong team.
Absolutely. Could you tell me a little bit more about how your pre-season and in-season trainings went? Were you training regularly? Did you get to many tournaments? How did that look for you?
Yeah, it has been a really interesting season actually. There's sort of been a Victorian and New South Wales bubble, or New South Wales ACT bubble to the division. We haven't actually played any of the New South Wales or ACT teams before coming to Canberra this weekend, which I think was quite an interesting difference to normal seasons. So we've spent a lot of time working on our structures within the club. We also played Victorian Regionals and March Madness, where we competed in the Open Division, which was a really great challenge for everybody. But it's been fantastic to come and play against all of those teams who are obviously amazing in their own right, and it's been a great competition so far.
So you just said that your women's team competed in an Opens tournament. How did they go?
Yeah, they went really well. It's something that we have done before as a club. In 2018, in the World Club season, we competed in the Victorian Ultimate League Open competition. It is, a different challenge. Playing against the top women's teams in Australia is what we're here to do, but playing against some open teams along the way is a good learning tool for us as well.
Absolutely. What are we expecting to see from your team this game?
Well, we have learnt some lessons from our game against Manly on Sunday, and we're going to implement some of those things. I don't want to say too much at this point, but the wind is a little bit down, so I think we'll probably see more long throws from both teams this game, as opposed to yesterday. It seemed the wind was particularly strong and those options were more difficult. But we've got a great group of athletes on the team, both in front of the disc and behind it, so I expect that there'll be a lot of fantastic opportunities for us to work the disc in both directions.
Absolutely. Do you have any expectations from your teammates, your players? Are you expecting anyone to really step it up this game?
Look, I think everybody has had nationals that they will look back on with pride up until now, and as a coach it's so heartening to see players that we, I guess at the beginning of the season saw as late selections, to be honest, in the team, and just the way that they've stepped up and built into crucial roles on the team. And I think everyone has played their best ultimate at nationals. So I don't really want to single someone out because to be completely honest, everybody has been playing so well.
Oh, it's definitely a tough question. There's some lovely words. It's so great to see a coach that is passionate about the sport and passionate about women's ultimate. I wish you all the best out there. Thank you for your time. We're going to head over to Daniel.
Thanks, Chantel. I'm joined by Rachel Grinley.
That was perfect.
Thank you.
Rachel, it's a big, big day for Manly Ultimate.
Indeed it is. Back for revenge after 2019 where we lost in the final.
That was a really close game, and Manly, they've been around, they've been coming for a couple of years. Is this the year?
I'd like to think so.
So we got to talk a little bit about Ellipsis before we get to Manly. How do you beat them, apart from with a stick while they sleep?
Well, I mean, a lot of it's about your mental attitude, and I think of all the teams at this tournament, our team probably has the belief we can beat them. They're just another team to us.
Yeah, great. Can you tell me a little bit more about what makes Manly different in that mental regard?
I think we've got some of the strongest competitors that have ever come out of Australian Women's Ultimate ever, in Sarah Wentworth, Nikki Shires, Lacey Jarrett, and you know, having that belief that we're there and you're never out of it and you can come back is what, you know, and you instill that belief in the rest of the team. That's where it makes a difference.
And that belief is a big, big thing. We saw yesterday a massive, massive win in the semi. Can you give me a few comments on that?
Yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking being on the sideline. But yes, I always had the belief, to keep using that word, that we could come back, even when we were down, whatever it was, by 2 and scoring the last 3 to win. Just have to keep going.
Yeah, and you're a long-time player at Nationals, 17 years in a row, unable to play. I believe you have an injury this tournament?
Yeah, unfortunately got the old person strained calf, but yeah, here to do my best on the sideline for the team.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about the team. You've got a fairly large roster with 25 registered, down to 23 for the game, I believe.
Yeah, so 23 for the game. We've got a broad range of ages. I think we stretch from 18 through to 49 on our group. But hopefully with our big roster, it's meant we've been able to keep some of those legs fresh for this game.
So tell me about one of the young players, someone who's had a great tournament.
Well, Taylor Carty is the name that just springs to mind. We've got a bit of an alliance going with Wollongong Ultimate, so we've got a bit of a contingent from there, and she's one of the Wollongong people. And I believe it's her first Div 1 Nationals, and she has just had a standout tournament. She scored the final goal in our semi-final win yesterday, so she's one to watch for the future, I think.
Excellent. And who else is from Wollongong on the team?
So we've got Holly Tupper, we've got Steph Bengson, and Osaka. Is it Toyo?
Yep.
Yeah, and there's probably someone else who I've forgotten, but yeah, and they're very dedicated, some of them driving up to training once a week from Wollongong to Manly, which I think is a huge effort.
Yeah, Steph Bengson, huge name, massive up-and-comer, a big threat. Do you think she has to fire here?
Absolutely, because she missed our semi-final yesterday because she was at a wedding, so she's got legs to burn this morning, I hope.
Yeah, I did notice that she was missing yesterday. I wonder what the story was there. So, at a wedding, right. Manly, what do you think is the key to this game for you?
Converting our offence, which is a very cliched answer, but if you're not doing that, it doesn't matter how many Ds you get.
Because you mentioned that you had a very close game against Ellipsis, 11 all at one stage there.
Yes, and we had our chances. They didn't have a single clean O when we played them yesterday morning. So again, it's that composure with the disc and just taking our time, setting and then taking the smart options.
Well, Rachel Grinley, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck for the match. Hopefully the girls can get up and get that revenge you were talking about. We're going to take a quick break here and return to your commentators for the match.
My name's Amy Cheng. I'm a user experience and user interface designer by day, and I play Ultimate Frisbee almost every other night, and I play for Manly Ultimate Club. So I started playing for Manly Ultimate a few years ago. I really love, especially our nationals team, it's really based in the club foundations. We've got a massive pipeline going out from the juniors and from the high school and the primary school that Dave and Catherine have really worked really hard in. It's really beautiful to see all the schools coming in. We've also got a bunch of, I think, older returned Manly players who come in who might have had kids and families, and so it's just like a real family club, and it's just really great vibes to be in. Everyone's super friendly and welcoming. Yeah, I think I started around 2018. I actually saw on Facebook that Manly was holding a free women's league, which kind of piqued my interest. I started playing in university, played a lot of mixed, didn't really have that much exposure to women's apart from some of the uni game stuff. I came to Manly, played some women's and was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I think it's a really beautiful chance for, especially with Diana Warman, who leads the club, she really pushes a lot of the girls to step up, the women to step up as well. And so ever since then, I've been playing with Manly Ultimate. Cool. Yeah, really ecstatic. I actually can't believe we're here with the 2020 season with COVID just wiped all the domestic season out as well, and it feels like we've been training for a year and a half, to be honest. It's great to finally get here and be able to stretch our legs and go out for a run against the other teams and with the Manly team as well. as a lot of people know on YouTube who watched the grand final live, we lost our grand final against Ellipsis from Victoria, and so we've got a bit of a, we're really keen to get out there and play them again, and just to show, I think, the world what we've got. Everyone in the club's been working really, really hard, and with a massive lead up as well, we're just raring to go and really excited to be here and give it our best shot.
Hi, I'm Anshu Went with Ping. I'm a student and I play for Manly Ultimate. This is going to be my first Australian Ultimate Championships, and I'm feeling a bit excited and a bit nervous because I've never played at this level before, but it's going to be good fun. Well, I started playing at Manly about a year ago when I was about 16, 17, and I've been playing mixed. I've been playing in the juniors, so with like younger kids, and I'm ready to make this like next step up into, you know, this sort of more competitive ultimate, which is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to playing some like really competitive ultimate. I'm looking to improve myself as a player because I'm pretty new, so I think this will just be a really good opportunity to play some like proper ultimate like with some women. It's going to be super fun and I'll be able to improve a lot with my throws, as well as just my confidence and like teamwork with other people. Because we've got such a good vibe and we're super chill and like we're one big family, so like yeah, we're just super chill and it's a good vibe, and we're also really competitive as well, so it's nice.
My name is Caroline Ma and I am one of the leaders of Ellipsis Ultimate. I'm a teacher for a living and I also work at a florist. The club started in 2013 as a mixed club. It was basically just a bunch of friends that decided to have fun together, and then in 2015 Ellipsis women decided to become a team that wanted to play nationals. I was a rookie on that team in my first year, and that was the first time I'd ever played club before, and since then we have won 4 national championships, so that's pretty exciting. It's definitely like the leadership and the approach to professionalism by the people that started the club, and that starts with like attitudes around high level training and just like having higher expectations for everyone. I think that's the thing that people say stands out to them when they play against us. I was lucky enough to be selected for the Australian women's team last year, and unfortunately we were not able to compete in the Netherlands. It was really hard because for me personally, it was like a goal of mine for a really long time to make that team and compete on that team, and it only happens every 4 years, similar to the Olympics, so obviously there was a lot of disappointment. Honestly, it's like a little bit hard to come out of a pandemic and still have all the attitudes to training and everything you had before then, because I think there's an element of bracing yourself for disappointment. It was very disappointing to not get to play that tournament, but I'm excited for hopefully getting to go to Canberra. I'm really excited because during this season we've only played tournaments in Melbourne, so we haven't actually had an opportunity to play any of these teams from interstate. So I'm really excited to see how we sort of match up against them because we haven't had a taste yet.
I'm a PhD student from Bendigo and I'm playing for Ellipsis. I think the thing that drew me to playing for Ellipsis is that they're a very professional, hard-working club. All the players really strive to push themselves in training all the time. We like to work really hard and push each other to get the best out of ourselves and out of our teammates. So yeah, I really like the drive and the passion that comes from being a part of Ellipsis. I think there definitely is pressure, especially because the first few years that Ellipsis won, I think they won the grand final games like relatively easily, but each year that we go through another campaign, the other teams get better and better and they're closing the gap really quickly. So yeah, I think there definitely is pressure, but it's also a privilege of being part of this club to have that reputation behind you and have those expectations of always needing to perform your best all the time.
Hi, my name's Angeline Gonzalez. I'm 21 years old. I play for Ellipsis and I'm a full-time uni student studying arts. So this is my first year playing for Ellipsis and it's also my first Australian Ultimate Championships.
You nervous at all?
Really nervous. Like coming into Ellipsis, I was really nervous into how I would fit in socially and also my role on the field, but I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with each training. So the nerves will kick in, but feel like I have a little bit of a home ground advantage in Canberra, having trained there for the last couple of years as well.
And welcome back to the Australian Ultimate Championships of 2021 in Canberra in the Australian Capital Territory. My name is Daniel Clinton. I'm joined by Chantel Jones ahead of the women's final.
I'm very excited, just like I am before every game. Before we get too much into this women's final, let's have a quick recap of the final standings of all the other teams. In 8th place, we have Phoenix, who lost to Sugar Mags, who finished in 7th. That's their first win of the tournament. Great job by them.
Yeah, incredible for the Newcastle girls to get a win. That's the only win of the tournament, and well, it's lifted them from last 8th place into 7th. Great for them.
We then have in 6th place Chile, followed by Factory in 5th, which we already knew about. And then the game before, which I left Greater Western Sydney in 4th place and Rogue in 3rd.
Yeah, great to watch Factory, or hear about Factory getting a victory, finishing the tournament in 5th. Probably not the result they wanted. They probably wanted to be in the semis. Not to be, however. They lost. They had the opportunity, losing in Universe Point to GWS yesterday.
That's right. How are you feeling about this upcoming game? What are we going to be watching?
I am so excited to watch Manly play Ellipsis here in the women's final for 2021. This is going to be a hell of a match. Manly, we heard from Rachel Grinley in the pre-game. It was going to be a tough match. They had their opportunity, so this will be good.
So we have had a winning streak from Ellipsis, is that correct? Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, they're undefeated so far. They're the favourites heading into this. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with the flip.
What is spirit of the game?
It's knowing the rules and when they apply.
It's avoiding body contact wherever possible.
It's keeping a positive attitude and enjoying the sport.
It's being fair-minded even when the game is on the line.
It's communicating respectfully with your opponent.
Welcome back to the women's gold medal match. We have the toss here. Ladies.
All right, whenever you're ready. Yep. Up. We'll take defense, please. We'll start off that end. All right, wonderful. Good luck. Thanks.
Alex Prentice, one of the captains of Ellipsis, nearly won the toss.
Yeah, almost. Look, that makes it 1 from 10, to be honest, for the tournament. I was hoping for a bit of a better result there, but that's all right.
How are you feeling about the game?
Pretty excited. We know we had a really tough game against this Manly team yesterday. Looking forward to getting back out there, having another really strong game.
Well, great. Thank you for your time. Good luck for the match. Over to you, Chantel Jones.
I'm here with Holly Reeve. How do you feel about the toss?
Pretty good. We got our first pick, but it just depends to play best based on whatever conditions you get. So we'll still have to try just as hard no matter what happens with the toss.
Awesome. And how are you feeling about the game?
Yeah, pretty good. I think we had a sleep in this morning, which is the first of the 4-day tournament, which is fantastic. We had a great game against them yesterday, so I think we're all pretty fired up. I think both teams will lift from yesterday as well, so it'll be an awesome final to find out who wins.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
If there's any team to take Ellipsis down, I personally believe that it will be Manly. It's going to be a cracking game ahead. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to head over to our commentators, Simon and Laura.
Ultimate is a non-contact team sport, with 7-a-side on the field and played with a flying disc.
The field is 100 metres long, including 18-metre end zones, and is 37 metres wide.
A goal is scored by completing a pass in the end zone.
Ultimate is self-refereed.
Players are responsible for upholding the rules and for resolving fouls and violations themselves.
Each point starts with a pull. Teams line up in opposing end zones, and the defensive team will throw to the offensive team to start play.
After every goal, teams swap ends.
The team that scored starts the next point on defense.
The disc is moved around the field by throwing it to teammates.
Once players have the disc, they set a pivot foot like netball or basketball and can't move from there.
Players have 10 seconds to throw the disc.
This is counted out loud by the closest defender.
An incomplete pass is a turnover, no matter who touched it last.
When a foul or violation call is made, players will discuss whether they agree on what happened.
If they agree, the call is uncontested and the fouled player retains possession.
If they don't agree, the call is contested and play resets to where the last completed pass was.
If a player anticipates a collision with another player, they can call pick to pause the play.
If the pause didn't affect the outcome of a throw, play resumes.
If it did affect the outcome, play resets to the last completed pass.
First to 15 goals wins the game.
If the game clock reaches 100 minutes, time cap is called and the score target is reduced to one more than the current winning score.
For example, if the score at time cap is 12-10, the new target score is 13.
You can't run the clock down. Teams have to score the last goal to win the game.
And welcome back to the Dixon playing fields in Canberra, ACT. For the Australian Ultimate Championships, the Women's Grand Final. Here it is, finally. Simon Talbot here, commentating with Laura Hutton. How are you, Laura?
I am feeling good, as I imagine both of these teams are. Manly, hailing from Sydney, Ellipsis from Melbourne.
A rematch of the 2019 final.
It is. Ellipsis got up over Manly in 2019, 15-11. Manly will be keen, I think, to see those numbers change.
As we take a look at the Manly squad. Laura, what can you tell us about them? Who should we watch for?
Manly, number 2, Hannah Chen, pivotal in yesterday's game through the middle. Same with number 7, Asaka Itoyo. The two of them working the disc through the middle, presenting options, taking great grabs. Looking at number 36, Taylor Cardi, a little bit of an up-and-comer, has represented at state level before, but this is her first shot at Ultimate Championships. Now looking to Ellipsis.
And the Ellipsis squad got a fairly big list here, but absolutely littered with superstars. Georgia Egan-Griffiths, Kat Phillips, Alex Prentice, Australian women's team representatives. Caroline Marr we'll see what she does with it. She's a very creative thrower. Also keep an eye out for Lucy Deller and Sally Yu, number 4 and number 2 respectively, as key defenders. They'll be taking some of those tough assignments from the D-line.
They will. Now, Ellipsis and Manly have met in this competition before during pool play. They met yesterday. The score 13-11 to Ellipsis. But of note, Manly, the only team to keep Ellipsis to time cap, not allowing them to get the full 15 points.
Wow, so almost the perfect tournament for Ellipsis so far. As we see Manly firing themselves up. The siren you heard earlier to start the game clock running. Of course, the first to 15 goals will win the game. But if we get to 100 minutes before either team has reached that target, that cap will be adjusted as Coach Steve Wright brings Ellipsis in for their final rev up.
That's right, Ellipsis here, defending champions of Australian Ultimate Championships, having won every competition between 2016, the year of their inception, and 2019.
And that's the story today. Manly had a shot at them last year, couldn't do it. Can they take them down today? Of course, 4th day of competition for these teams. 8 games each under the belt.
That's a lot of ultimate to be played, even stretched over 4 days.
But today, this is their only game. They should be all fresh from this morning, or as fresh as we can expect them to be.
Yeah, like we heard from the captains before, getting a bit of a sleep in this morning. A rare thing in an ultimate frisbee competition.
Unlike some games, all the minor placing games took place at 9 a.m. this morning, and I was over watching a few of them, and never let it be said that players don't care about the minor placing. Saw some absolutely cracking games in both divisions. Of course, we saw Factory get up comfortably over Spicy Chili for 5th place. Rogue winning the 3rd place game.
And the Sugar Magnolias with their first win of the tournament, getting up over Phoenix from Melbourne into 8th place.
And of course, this one for the big one, the number 1 spot, the gold medal to call themselves champions. So the first pool goes up. Holly Reeve sends it. Jodie Palmer. Ma. First shot looking for Mira, and it's gone too far. And the first chance here for Manly to get a defensive break straight away. Palmer goes big, trying to get ahead of Shires. Shires winds up, sends the backhand. And Lucy Moore, I don't think she was aware that one was to her. She also had Taylor Cardi there looking for her. But I think that's what Manly will do early. If they get these chances, they're just going to shoot early and force Ellipsis to defend that back half of the field.
That is not the clean start that I think Ellipsis would have wanted, but they have regained possession.
Mara again will probably look for Meehan again. But no, this time she launches and goes big, looking for Olivia Carr. Cardi underneath with her. Carr with a one-handed grab. Continues up the line looking for Anderson, but that one's gone too far. She's going to have to dive and just gets maybe half a fingernail to it.
An incredible chase there. That disc was so far out in front, but she made up the ground, left her feet. As we saw Ellipsis work out of that horizontal stack, meaning that they pulled their players across the field, increasing the space they had in both the unders towards the disc and the deep space away from the disc.
Conversely, Manly want that space on the top half and the bottom half of the field to allow their players to work up and down. Reeve keeps the foot in with the defender on her hip, and then a call made. And so I think what's happened here is that she may have landed out of bounds, but she's contending that the contact from Lyra Meehan whilst her out of bounds, and so the call's been retracted. She is in bounds straight away. Looks for Monica Chang. Really controls the downfield formation. Cardi. Kayo. We'll see her ruling that top half of the field today, as we did in the semi-final yesterday. Shires. Big lateral gain to Monica Chang. Reeve, 20 from goal. Kayo again. Sends it up the line. Lacey Moore this time is able to rein it in.
A defensive break for the first point of the game, Simon.
And you could not have asked for a better start to get the first goal from defence. We have Daniel Clinton down on the sideline. What have you seen?
I don't know if I'm reading into this too much, but I'm seeing nerves. Ellipsis, they could turn the disc over twice in that point. Uncharacteristic, really, for the Ellipsis team. Normally so clean and clinical.
Could be nerves. It could just be that their receivers just have day 4 legs. Some players we know put about 8 or 9 kilometres of running into their legs each game. So the equivalent of a half marathon for each of the last 3 days.
And when some teams are having 2 or 3 games a day, some with no break in between, running between fields to get to the next game, it can really build up fatigue.
We've only seen those 2 passes only just out of stretch, so they're not skill errors. They're just throws that they would have landed in training hundreds of times.
That's right. Maybe the Ellipsis throwers just having to adjust back a little bit to compensate for those tired legs.
Warman sends a pull low and flat. Prentice watches it all the way into her hands. Quick one to McDonald. 40 from goal. Wentworth on the mark there. Phillips. We didn't see her on day 1. She's suited up for the final U. Phillips again finding space on the low side. Launches the backhand. She's got McDonald. Again, too far.
Pumping that disc upfield. She did have Egan Griffiths and McDonald behind it, but just couldn't make up the ground.
It looks like they're making the same choice as Manly do, is forcing the Manly defence. By taking those kind of long options early, they're forcing Manly to defend the whole field. They can't just crowd themselves in the space close to the disc, in that sort of 20-metre radius around the thrower. They have to extend, and that's the advantage of Ellipsis, because they've got the athletic ability to easily cover those cuts. Warman. She had Bombarderi going long, but chose to go lateral instead, and this time it's Wentworth that misses the target, looking for Taryn Anderson. So Ellipsis to start their second goal at offence, 25 from goal. They're sticking with a horizontal formation. So they'll look to probably try and get it to the centre field. So they've got both sides of the end zone to shoot at. Eldred, the first cut. Lateral movement to McDonald, dishes forward to Phillips. Phillips unguarded at the moment. Here we go, they're working it to the low side now. McDonald, Eldred. Has options from you and also Egan Griffiths, but looks back. McDonald slipped. Prentice is able to come in and fill that space, and Egan Griffiths finds that front corner. And Ellipsis get on the board.
1-1, a tightly contested game there. And we see the difference between the teams in their choice of structures. As we've said, Ellipsis choosing to go across the field and have cutters working directly towards or away from the disc, whereas Manly sticking to a vertical stack, moving their players to the side, and that's where we saw Atoyo really shine, always getting free on that side that Ellipsis were trying to block off.
Yeah, so the aim of the Manly offence there is just to turn it into one-on-one battles, not leaving any room for extra defenders to peel off. And that's the risk you run with the horizontal stack, is that the defenders can really close in and cut up that middle space, but attacking well with those 45-degree angled movements can help counteract that. So an interesting tactical battle as well as skill and athletic battle here.
Wouldn't expect anything else from the gold medal match at the Australian Ultimate Championships. These two teams very experienced.
Lyra Meehan sends the pull deep. Top of the field at right on the goal line, 64 from goal. Short gainer on the first one. Reeve winds up the forehand. That's going to fall short. And Amanda Fung saw that was going to drop. Ma gets it going quickly. Meehan Not many options happening along. Goes lateral. Ma. Dhaliwal. Got Hollowbone next. Plenty of space in the middle now. Lacey Moore. Intelligent defending there from Lacey Moore. She knew they were looking for that 45-degree angle pass. Stepped across. Forced them to go lateral, and the throw's been overshot.
Has Manly with a chance here from just about halfway up the field.
Good turnovers don't necessarily come from blocks. They can come from smart defending. Perryman launches, looking for Reeve. He's gone deep, and that's Manly's second goal. Don't think anyone was expecting Reeve to take off deep there, much less anyone on the field.
Beautiful work there. Reeve recognising the turn, taking her defender for a trip the full length down into the end zone.
And Lara Perryman, she definitely put some extra on this throw. You see her really step out, get wide, and full rotation in, because she knew she had to get that extra power to get it up the breeze and into that top left end zone. Daniel.
I've been watching Holly Reeve play for many years now, and one of the things that sets her apart from other players is her ability to get to where she needs to be on the field. She's not necessarily a thrower, she's not necessarily a receiver, she's often both.
Very versatile player. We'll probably see a bit more of that.
We will. Reeve pivotal in Manly's win over Rogue yesterday. Tears on both sides after that. Tears of joy from Manly at reaching the gold medal match.
Shires. No stranger to big occasions. O'Connor. Prentice. 44 from goal. Finds Egan Griffiths in the middle. Has a couple looks. He's got Jess Parks deep. Takes it easily in front of Annie Longley. Plenty of traffic training past her. She opts to go backwards to Prentice. Prentice, Egan Griffiths. Nice little high release, and Prentice in that front corner. Much tidier offense there from Ellipsis.
That's the kind of offense we're used to Ellipsis playing. Clean, no turnovers, chaining passes together up the length of the field.
Egan Griffiths, critical to the movement there. Just gave him a couple of easy looks through the middle. You see that grab from Parks there. Just held position well. 2 hands on it. Taking no chances. Prentice just not afraid to use her full measure. You saw her sort of catch there and take her time, wipe the sweat off her hands before she got the throw ready. And the nice little 1-2 there with Georgia Egan Griffiths earns Ellipsis's. I'm going to have so much trouble with that today. Second goal. As we see Di Warman there giving some instructions to the Manly players with her, and Coach Steve Wright calling a defensive structure. Of course, score 2-2, but Manly have stolen the offensive advantage from Ellipsis after that first block and goal, so they'll receive the disc from this pool, giving them a chance to hold on to a 1-goal lead. Meehan. Plenty of hang time on that one. Warman to field at about 50 from goal, but she's got pressure on her from the very first pass. All her cutters moving away from her. Not much coming her way. She's going to have to go short, and defensive pressure there from Ellipsis, leading to that forced error on the throw. She had no more options left, almost the full measure of the 10 count. And so Ma, just over 25 from goal, wants to move it top side of the field. Short to Palmer. Back to Ma. Olivia Carr having to stretch for it. Can't reach it. And Di Warman collects instead. Goes backwards looking for the huge gainer upfield, trying to find Kershaw. That was Perryman there. We're seeing her go for distance on a couple of throws now. That might be her role today.
It very well could be. A powerful thrower. Not much wind today, so not really an upwind or downwind.
Meehan looks infield now. She's got Ma on the lateral. Tupper putting pressure on it. Carr. Meehan. A lot of cutters moving away from her. She sees Ma with the advantage, sends it up long and high. And Bar's she's gone to leap early because she had Steph Banks and a right on her tail. And just out of the fingertips. A rare error.
But again, like you were saying before, Manly now having to fight the full length of the field. So Ellipsis able to exert some good defensive pressure here with their person-to-person defence.
They're standing just behind their cutters, just really trying to make them move towards the disc and hope that they can beat them in a foot race. And look what's happened here. Ma has stolen the disc out of the vertical space of Holly Tupper. Palmer, Meehan, right on the brick mark, 20 from goal. Looking straight at the end zone. No one's moving for her where she likes, so she dishes to Palmer. Palmer goes to fire it back infield, but off balance and sends it into the ground. Warman looking for Wentworth. Wentworth sliding underneath it. 30 from goal. She's got Bengtson long with the Palmer matchup. Still looking upfield. Not many lateral options, so sends inside to Warman. Warman sizing up every single option. Sends it out to Perryman. Perryman points up, saying head that way, and a pick's been called in the stack as Wentworth takes the catch, but there's some cross paths at the front there. I think it was Olivia Carr trying to follow Di Warman. So you see the replay there, yep, just at the very top middle there, just nothing intentional, of course. The players able to call the stoppage just to stop those collisions. The disc will stay with Wentworth. Wentworth pops it up to Bengtson.
Beautiful take in the end zone there by Bengtson. A little pop over the top, taking advantage of the lack of wind today to pull in that score for Manly, who go 3 up against Ellipsis on 2.
So you see the restart here. Bengtson starting just from the right of screen there, and just that straight 45-degree angle cut. And her teammate there, that was Laura House. She was heading to that front corner, but pulled up when she saw Bengtson coming. Thought, I'll leave that space for her. Dan, what have you seen?
I'm on the far sideline here, Simon. I just want to talk a little bit about the wind. It's been coming from the bottom left to the top right all weekend. It seems to have swung and is going completely in the opposite direction. Top right to bottom left now.
Yeah, any fans who have been following all weekend would have noticed that it's usually around this time of morning that the stiff breeze picks up. But yeah, nothing to speak of today. It's little puffs here and there you can hear in our microphone, but what we call a thrower's breeze. The wind is just not really going to trouble anyone on the field here, but just keeps the disc in the air a fraction longer, which can work to your advantage if you're smart about it.
Very true. And Manly taking advantage of that, only having one handler back with the disc at the start of their plays, bringing a fill-in in when necessary.
Reeve sends the pull low and flat, keeping it to this bottom side. Patterson charges in to meet it. Atoyo nearly had a taste of that one. McDonald in the middle, and Reeve has picked that cut straight away and runs in for the intercept. Gets the 1-2 from Lacey Moore. Moore gets it back, 20 from goal. She's got her eyes on Reeve, but Reeve covered by Phillips. She's going to have to do something, and yep, the stall out's been called. And Prentice is very confident that she got that last can out before she got rid of it. Of course, we can't quite hear from back here, and more that looked very late.
But if you feel differently, that's totally fine. That's fine. Stalling 8.
So the contention there is that Prentice didn't actually say 10. And that's the letter of the law. So Lacey Moore sends it up into traffic, but it's Dominique Elliott. Read that out of the hand and was right underneath it. Gets the intercept. Prentice having a stretch for that one. Fires it to Phillips. Prentice looking for a long gainer upfield, but not much heading away from the McDonald. She's got Yu coming towards her. Unguarded. Yu looks to dish off to Phillips. Phillips has got Chong long. Great read by Toyo there to cut that off, but she's going to have to work back. They've got it up to Prentice now to that high side. Prentice shooting for Saliu. Way too far. Too much on that one.
Too much on that one. We will just see where that disc comes back in.
Oh, so it travelled out of bounds. It looks like it's landed in bounds.
Has it?
It was a long shot down the sideline. It looks like Manly are setting up for...
Off that front cone there.
Yeah.
Manly sticking to this vertical stack, this time starting with a reset. Another handler option level with the thrower.
Reeve. Moore's free in the middle there, bottom of screen, but turning away now. Lateral to Toyo. Not much coming towards her. They'll probably have to move laterally back to leave. Manly receivers playing very deep here. Drawing plenty of defenders into that space. Toyo. Reeve. Bombarderi. Manly starting to cluster up now, bringing some space up there. Reeve's got more, but she's hasn't put enough on it. Prentice with a great read on that. Quick movement here. Elliott, That's Patterson up the line, but heads back inboard. Prentice with a big crossfield gainer. Great grab by Phillips ahead of Reeve. She fires it into the corner, and pressure there from Alicia Bombarderi on Alex Patterson.
That's right, going up early, jumping in front.
Heard the footsteps coming. Made Patterson think about it. Chantel Jones, what are you saying?
I had the pleasure to overhear the line call from Ellipsis. They may be doing a forced middle up to half.
Okay, so that's why they're not really getting the shots out. Toyo testing her flexibility. Reeve. Yeah, you can hear the audible calls from the sideline there saying home or away. Home is what they'll be calling the top side of the field, away the bottom side. Reeve. Phillips gets her hand in there. There was a wave there, but the call's been waved off. The turnover will stand. Ellipsis will have the disc about 10 from goal. Chloe McDonald. They've still got their cutter spread across the field, and Prentice wasn't ready for that one and was caught flat-footed.
Manly walking through, regaining their breath.
Reeve. She's got Bombarderi long. Fires it low and flat. Bombarderi, she committed to that one. Thought, I'm going to put the body on the line, just get used to the pattern.
That's it.
And we're seeing Manly, really going to start to try and push Ellipsis back towards that right of screen. Force them to have to move it further and give them more space to defend. McDonald. You can see the Manly defenders really clustering up that centre space of the field now. Cold drop, not what you want. Reeve, 20 from goal. Hensel, 45-degree angle pass to Toyo. Toyo on the doorstep now, has a couple of looks. And that is Manly's fourth goal. They take a 2-goal lead. Taylor Carty with the score in that front corner ahead of an outstretched Saliu.
What an amazing run there. And again, credit to Atoyo getting that initial pass, getting the disc moving, and then having the sensibility to wait for the good cut to come.
Yeah, it's very tempting to try and fire it into the goal when you're that close, but she thought, I want to wait for a certain option. Factored away, kept the defence moving and just waited patiently. Had a quick look back, but Taylor Carty had not much advantage on her defender, but it was enough. Daniel.
I'm just over here on the far sideline. I managed to eavesdrop a little bit on some of Steve Wright, coach of Ellipsis's instructions. His instructions to the D-line almost exclusively offensively minded. All about treasuring possession and sticking to their structures.
Lovely there. And as we saw in that last replay, Atoyo pumping the quick fake. A fake is usually used to move your defender around, convince them that you're going to throw one way, make them jump in front, then opening up that sideways movement for you.
Yeah. Of course, it's tough as a defender to try and cover 360 degrees of options. Chantel.
2 words from Coach Steve: 2 words, intention and aggression. There's a message there. They need to be confident out there. They really need to have a crack. They need to pick up after their errors. What have you noticed over there on the other sideline?
Yeah, it was Di Warman leading the charge in the Manly huddle. Very calm and collected presence is Di Warman.
Her years of experience there telling her that she needs to be that anchor for the Manly team to keep them grounded, to remind them that there's still a lot left to play in this game. A 2-point lead is good, but they need to maintain their clear-headedness.
6 goals in 25 minutes in. We're barely warmed up here. A 2-goal lead it's a good edge early, but can disappear very quickly, especially with Ellipsis receiving this pull. It's really only a 1-goal offensive advantage at the moment, but it's very rare that you can get those kind of breaks on a team of this caliber. So we see Warman there giving some last instructions. Going to have less than 15 seconds to pull. You'll hear the 3 whistles, which indicates it needs to go up. That's going to come shortly from the game advisors. She's got the hand up and sends it before that time limit is up and a timeout can be enforced. Prentice running in to meet that one and get offense started straight away. Centres to Ma. They're running with a vertical formation now, isolating Phillips, who has to go very close to the disc. You back to Ma to Meehan now. Being pushed to that high sideline. Ma finds Prentice. Phillips is deep. It's just off to the right of screen now. She's going to be a target. In she comes. Unguarded at the moment. She has a look at that high side. Flips it quickly to you. Gets the 1-2. There'll be a backhand shot. Not quite. Recess to Prentice. Sends a high one up to the advantage of Ma. Not in the end zone. Flips it over the top. Sally Yu. Much more confident and aggressive offense from there from Ellipsis. What they would not have wanted to do is try and play conservative. They need to stick with the brand that they know and are comfortable with to keep this scoreboard ticking over. Chantel.
Very tactical timeout called by Ellipsis. Definitely paid off. They definitely did what they said they were going to do.
Yeah, we saw Ellipsis come out there in that initial vertical stack, possibly a set play.
Yep.
They've marked players to cut under or cut deep for the disc, then transitioning as they move further downfield back into that horizontal that they're really comfortable with.
Yeah. Of course, there's 14 players out there on the field, and it looks to be a fairly decent old size field, but with the players moving at the speeds they do, there's really not as much territory as you'd think. So, of course, you want to, as a cutter, if you're not actively moving, you want to draw your defender out of the space for your teammates that are moving. Pull goes up. Phillips this time with duties. Perryman centres to Tupper. Keeps it moving laterally to Reeve. Ellipsis with his own defensive look, forcing this lateral movement. Manly will keep the disc moving. Make the Ellipsis players do the work until the gaps open up. Reeve finds House on the top sideline. Great little floaty backhand just before the green and black jerseys get locked on. Tupper, one look to the middle, back to Perryman. Perryman doing an excellent job here as the anchor of this offense, just quickly moving it laterally, forcing. And there we go, gaps opens up for Bengtson. Back to Reeve. Perryman. This is fantastic zone offense from Manly. Just keeping the disc moving quickly, swinging back and forth, gaining a couple of extra meters on each throw. Moore finds space through the middle, not quite in goal. Reeve. Again, Perryman creeping forward, taking every centimetre she can get. Tupper. Keeping them moving laterally. Reeve tries to jump it in. Sees Moore, ball right on the goal line. Back to Reeve. Reeve wanting to get this point over. They're so close. Perryman. Tupper. Reeve getting more attention now for the defenders to stop these easy lateral throws more. And Reeve goes back the way she came. Perryman has moved all the way over there. Tupper in the middle, and there we go. They've finally found their space. So the trick to beating a zone like that is to keep them moving, make them do repeat sprints, and eventually they'll start slowing down, and eventually the gaps will open up.
Yeah, that was an arrowhead zone there from Ellipsis. So a mark straight up, 2 marks 45 degrees on either side, 3 metres back, really forcing that lateral movement. And what Manly did so well was to keep that lateral movement slightly forward, gaining ground with every swing across the field. Chantel on the sideline, what did you see?
Simon, Laura, a perfect description of how that zone needed to be played. That's the kind of footage that you would take to your team and say, you know how to play zone offense? Watch these guys. Yeah. Textbook, very high quality.
Lara Perryman was the MVP at that point for mine. She just never held on to the disc for long and really made that lateral movement so easy. Just 2 passes, bang, 30 metres back and forth. That's the key to it. You can never try, as soon as you sit on the disc too long in the middle, that's what the defence wants you to do.
And credit to Manly there for staying calm in the, against that zone. Really, like, safe hands, good looks, good communication between the players. Really great to see.
Of course, it's crucial that they score the goals where they receive the pull. And this is the chance to try and extend the lead to get the disc back off Ellipsis. Pull lands out, so Ma throws her hand up. The signal she'll take the brick option. Of course, the brick being 20 metres upfield, where they start offence from if the pull lands out of bounds on the full. Ellipsis cutters all very deep here. Carr gets the under. Ma pumps the backhand. Fake. No, moving that way. She's got Dhaliwal. 3 metres from goal. Signalling where she wants her reset option to be. Closely guarded, so she has to look upfield. Gonzalez underneath her, but it's gone over the top to her, and an easy intercept for Wentworth. They quickly move it up the field. Etoyo finds Shires. Shires. Chang diving forward. Lateral to Cardi. Cardi under pressure from Lucy Della. Shires. Again, you can hear Ellipsis calling an audible switch of force. The pick caught in the stack there, up in the top left. Anderson there catching up with Kershaw, her assignment. Shires, Wentworth. The Manly cutter set very, very deep. Itayo again patrolling that high side. Kershaw. Backwards to Shires. Shires really wants to get it moving to this low side as soon as she gets it, but Ma cuts that off that option. Forces her to hang on to it a bit longer. Wentworth through the middle. Itayo. Very close to score now. We can hear the sideline urging them to call a timeout, but Shires wants none of that. She finds Monica Chang for her first goal.
Screaming down from the back of the end zone there.
For Manly's 6th goal, the 2nd defensive conversion, and they extend the lead.
To 3 points. It's worth being said that of all the games Ellipsis have played this tournament, I don't think I've ever heard of them being behind before.
It's not a situation they've had a lot of practice in, so
it'll be a good chance for them to try and mentally rally themselves, pump themselves back up.
Again, we saw Monica Chang, when we see her on the field for the offense, she doesn't provide a lot of cutting options. She mostly sits in the middle of that formation, directing traffic, really telling her teammates when and where to go. It takes great awareness to know what all 6 of your teammates and all 7 of the defenders are up to and what their plans are. And then she just spotted the opportunity there where Shires got that lateral pass. She knew she'd have one look at that low side of the end zone and just charge straight at it. Chantel.
We can be expecting this point for Ellipsis to put on a straight up force for the full field. Do you have any thoughts on that, Simon?
They obviously want to stop Manly running and gunning if they get the turn. If, a big if. Prentice, Phillips. They've got their cutters set up very close to the disc here, Ellipsis. They're very obviously looking for a long shot. We'll see Miriam Vino would have been the first look there. She was just on the left of screen. There's a pick's being called. Phillips. Prentice. A couple of options moving towards it is Egan Griffiths. She's got Tracy Chong with a couple of steps on her defender. She's going to run this in comfortably.
Easy as anything for Ellipsis there.
Egan Griffiths, that bullet of a backhand. One of the better throwers out there on the field, Daniel Clinton.
I've just been watching who's been copying the Kat Phillips matchup from Manly. They've gone through 3 different options. Hannah Chen, the latest one, Steph Bankson, as well as Holly Reeve, all having a crack at the superstar.
Of course, Phillips playing behind the disc at the moment. We'll definitely see her move downfield later in the game. And marking athletes like her around the disc is a lot easier than trying to cover downfield territory. So it'll be interesting to see who still has that matchup.
Yeah, Manly having some good legs, some really fast movers. Also having some tall receivers who, as I mentioned yesterday, make great defenders as well.
So you see Wright giving his final instructions to the defensive unit there. Lyra Meehan with the disc ready to pull. Sends it into play. Plenty of hang time, and that's drifting, lands in bounds. They're pinned on that high sideline. Tupper wants to move it laterally straight away. Perryman. So you can really see she doesn't have any lateral reset options. They just look to move it wide. Anderson. Richards, sorry. Reeve. Tupper. Has a look upfield. A big gainer there to Wentworth. Wentworth pumps the backhand, looking for Bankson. Bankson just wrong-footed herself. Second guess which foot she was going to take off from. She had Alex Patterson hot on the heel and just ran right under it. Yep, you see she just wasn't sure which foot to take off from, and
made the second effort when she landed, but by then the disc was too far in front to reel in.
So Ellipsis have a shot to bring this back to a 1-goal game. Bring back some of the offensive advantage that Manly have gained. Pick called straight out of the stack. We think there's no hand signals here, so we're not sure what players just communicating verbally. McDonald, Egan Griffiths. Yep, another pick called. We just saw on the rider stack there a lot of traffic happening on that high side. I think that I just want to be trying to move their cutters to the high side of the field to open up space on the bottom side. Lyra Meehan, flat grab, winds up the backhand. Tracy Chong's going to be on the end of another one. Can she run it down? It's gone over her head. And she's... You heard the audible groan from the crowd. She thought, do I go one hand, two hands? Do I have to lay? I'll just grab it. It's a great throw to set her up. Saliu can't run that one down. Wentworth have the perfect read on it for the big gainer. Perryman. Not much happening downfield. Very, very tight coverage from Ellipsis. Wentworth. Ellipsis just sitting right behind the cutters, hoping for a loose throw or be able to run past them. Bankson throwing her hands up in frustration. Just wants the disc back to Wentworth. Wentworth having a long look upfield. Bankson moves across to Perryman. Perryman looking up. Lowers the eyes now. Reeve. Cutters are starting to slow down, having put a few repeated efforts in. Tupper sends a long look at the front corner. Still searching for Wentworth. We think that shot was always going to come out soon as the downfield movement dried up. the Ellipsis defenders weren't showing any sign of slowing down, and I think their best bet was to take the shot at that point. As we see Alira Meehan keeping the play alive for Ellipsis there.
We do. And Manly there, setting up deep of their mark on defence, forcing them under towards the disc, trying to prevent those big long throws that we saw to Chong twice just then.
Egan Griffiths up the line to Meehan. Meehan can't keep this one off the ground. So Perryman taking her time walking to the disc. No resets near her. They're going to set up that diagonal formation with Wentworth at the front, either looking into that corner of the end zone or for a big lateral there. Ellipsis cutting off the goal side option. Reeve, she's got numbers on this low side, but Bankson doubles back, finds space. Doesn't get the quick dish off. Reeve now. 15 from goal, pops a high backhand out. Tupper. Got Bankson one out. Closely guarded by Tracy Chong, so can't find her. A pick called in the stack just at the top of screen there as players are moving across the field. Ellipsis really want to try and force the throwers to throw back infield where there's plenty of traffic there. You can see Egan Griffiths on that angle of the mark there. Tupper, lateral to Wentworth. One look, resets to Richards. Tupper pops the backhand up. There's high, there's numbers underneath it, and Patterson goes early. Perryman hesitated.
Beautiful defensive pressure there from Ellipsis.
Yep. Right on them there. Just no one from Manly could get free in that end zone. But now it's on Ellipsis to convert. Egan Griffiths has a long option early. Goes short to Meehan. Moves to the high side. McDonald. Reeve got the matchup on Phillips. Leaving her to go out wide. I don't think it's much of a concern for her. Phillips is behind the disc. Not many cutters coming towards her. See Patterson out wide. Flips it up to McDonald. Saliu. Got Tron coming towards her. Egan Griffiths in the middle. Picks the second option. Flips it out to McDonald. McDonald winds up. Puts a 9-9 on it. Puts it in the sky. Phillips is underneath it. And Bankson peeled off her and come in. And Phillips came down with it. And pops it straight into Patterson for the quick goal.
I don't know if Phillips was even back on her feet when she threw that.
Yeah, I think she collected a bit of contact from Bankson on the way down. I think the Manly defenders stopped waiting for a foul call, but Phillips said, no, I'm fine with that. I've got the disc. Sent it straight in. It was to see Steve Wright there calling for a timeout. Ellipsis second timeout of the half. McDonald, plenty of height on that one. We see Phillips underneath it. Bankson coming in. Yeah, Phillips grabbed it with the left hand and Manly defence just stood there and left it. Daniel.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a gauge for the energy levels of both teams. I feel like Ellipsis are really building into this final, whereas Manly seem to maybe have peaked out.
Yeah, it looks like they've shot their shot and got the lead, and it's on them to hang on to it now. We know Ellipsis are going to finish strong. It's just whether the Manly can just need to keep putting in their offensive points where they receive the pull, as long as they can retain the offensive advantage still, the double flip at half. So
yeah, so Manly looking in that end zone when they had that chance before.
Yeah.
The lateral movement was there, but I didn't see the cuts coming out of the stack you would expect them to. Whether the player's too tired to commit to making that 100% effort out to beat their defenders.
Well, Manly just weren't making an effort to draw their defender away from that space first before attacking it. They were just trying to make it a foot race, and with the Ellipsis defender right on your heels, it's hard for a thrower to decide they've got a 100% shot. So you see Ellipsis there on the timeout. Their call, their focus just on themselves. Daniel.
Just listening to Di Warman in the Manly huddle. She said the words, it's now or never, it's do or die on this field. I think she's
And Chantel, were you able to listen into the Ellipsis huddle?
I sure was. I heard the words, I may be mistaken, but I heard the words arrowhead and zone. It'd be really cool to see if that's what is going to happen.
We saw Manly work very effectively against that zone earlier, so we know they can do it. There's no breeze at all to speak of now.
Yeah, zones usually being pulled out in the wind to prevent those over-the-top throws that are so good at breaking that zone open.
Yep.
But Manly didn't even rely on those. Manly strictly worked it up through good lateral movement.
Yeah, just that side to side across the field. We see Phillips with a hand up on pulling duties. Phillips coming off her AFLW season with St Kilda Football Club. Sends a pull up, bit of curve on it. It's going to drop short. Manly will have about 45 metres to cover. Anderson back to Warman. Warman sends it right into the lap of Kat Phillips. Phillips, she's got Egan Griffiths long, but two Manly defenders covering her, and Meehan's the free play as a result. Egan Griffiths sends a higher skyward one, drops it into the lap of her teammate, Kat Phillips, who covered in just a couple of passes, about 60 metres of territory, like it was nothing.
So quick and athletic is Kat Phillips.
And there we go. There's that defensive break that Ellipsis have been chasing to bring the score to 6-all. Daniel.
Yeah, I think Di Warman was sensing what I was talking about. Manly's energy levels seem flat. Ellipsis very much building into this final. This is a huge problem for Manly.
So we saw Phillips with that easy intercept before. Di Warman threw it almost straight to her. And Egan Griffiths, with no breeze, they can get a bit creative with their throws, and Jess Parks had dragged Lacey Moore into that front corner, so she was out of the equation with that high disc, and Phillips unbeatable. So the first whistle. Well, we can hear a cheer from the Wollongong contingent as Bengtson is called onto the field. Bengtson, Wollongong native. The crowd building with all the placing games finished. There's only one more placing game left in the men's division. We'll bring you that result after this game. Ma sends the pull up and spinning into play. Plenty of noise on the sideline now and encouragement. Perryman, they've run with his own again. Perryman looks up, sees a sea of black and green. Warman getting tightly guarded one-on-one. Perryman's just going to have to do something here and pop it up. And Carr's called the stall out. And it looks like Perryman's contesting it, so it'll go back to her. I think might have called a fast count. Carr might have got those last couple of counts out.
Ready at the back there, ready at the back.
Stalling out, yeah.
So contested stall, so Perryman
when it was thrown.
When it was thrown. So I was closer, yeah?
I think you're a couple of steps closer to I.
Closer? Yeah.
Game advisor Steve Baker there helping them, just advising them where they were. So this disc is going up right now regardless. And Perryman picked her target out. She saw Bengtson out wide and Bengtson's gone. And she copped a bump from Della there. Lucy Della had a bit of a think about it, but then realised she'd already had her clean goal at it, so it didn't affect the outcome of that play. And makes no call. So that zone pressure from Ellipsis. There was something we spotted we'll talk about afterwards, Laura. Meehan pops it up looking for Liv Carr. And Perryman makes a goal of it, but Liv Carr's caught it and Ellipsis have hit the lead. And don't they love it? They're excited. They're back to the point they're being comfortable with and holding a lead. So, Laura, we saw that zone defense there from Ellipsis, but what they had, only had 6 players in the zone, and they had Mandy Fung playing one-on-one matchup with Di Warman.
Yeah, so a bit of an assassination there.
Yep.
Looking at the most experienced handler on that line and taking them out with a 1-to-1 match while the rest of the team plays zone.
Daniel Clinton.
I'm not sure anything was said in the Ellipsis team, but you notice when they scored that point, the entire team charged the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, celebrating, getting back out in front, backing their teammates. It's good to see.
We saw the Fung marking Warman out of the zone just meant that Perryman didn't have an easy reset and was just left stranded with a high stall count. She did well after that contested stoppage to try and sling it to the high side of the field to Banks' advantage, but tough throw at the best of times and under the pressure she had. Phillips, long flat pull, Shires to field it. Close to their own goal line. Tupper, they've got the arrowhead zone again, and they're paying a lot more attention to Holly Reeve, just letting her play behind this. They want her in front. Brilliant lippy throw into the hands of Alicia Bomaderi, who puts it down. Ellipsis to start, only half the field to gain. Prentice urging her cutters to come towards them. Vino, her token a bit closer to the line, pumps the backhand up the line to Chong. Chong right on the doorstep now, has one good look at the end zone. No teammates there, so backwards to Prentice, lateral to Phillips. Phillips with that high, so DeMarcus slips over, keeps her unguarded for a moment. Prentice taking her time. Patterson uncontested in the middle, unguarded. Prentice, she wants that high side, she wants to put it over the top. Sends the fake, tells her teammates that's want to throw. Not many options, has to just send it. And Tracy Chong there.
From the back of the stack.
That was desperation shot from Prentice. She looked upfield for a while, looked at her reset. Her reset said, I can't get open, so she's just slung it over to the back of the formation, hoping for the best. And Chong read it out the hand. And Ellipsis end that run to take half 8-6. Chantel.
You can really see the importance of converting off a mistake. And we saw that the disc got turned over. It was in Manly's hands and Ellipsis didn't give it back.
We saw earlier on there was quite a few skill errors in this game from the Ellipsis team, but they've tidied that right up and not making any errors now. Steve Wright got his charges in straight away.
Yeah, and it just goes to show what doing the basics well can do for a team. Looking at your receiver, figuring how fast they can get to where you want to put the disc and putting the right amount of touch on it.
Well, with that half break, we're going to take a short break ourselves. We'll be back in a few minutes with the second half.
Motion Beats.
welcome back. Second half action just about to get underway. Chantel Jones, were you able to listen to any of those half-time huddles?
Yeah, absolutely. Danny Alexander from Manly jumping into the middle of that huddle and hyping them up. I was 10 metres away and it's hyped me up. They want it. They want it so badly. They've been working for nothing but this, and they really are going to come out and have a good fight.
Danny Alexander, a multi-time Australian representative. Family would love to have her on the field this weekend, but not to be. That pull from Kat Phillips is going to drift out of bounds. Now they're just...
Hand in the air, they'll bring it into the brick mark.
We couldn't quite see where that went out of bounds, but I think Manly are just as comfortable with centre field position more so than how far down the field it was. Lara Perryman will start with the disc. 44 from goal. Reeve and Warman at the front of that formation. Wentworth. And Wentworth, she's going to get it, but Tracy Chong sliding in, knew that that pass was going to come, knew she had to be on Wentworth's hip, and gets it knocked away from her. Wentworth, who all she could do is just look at it. Prentice, Egan Griffiths. Back to Prentice, looks to the low side. McDonald gives her the option. Back inboard, Egan Griffiths never hangs on to it for too long. Gets to the up line cut. Back across, huge lateral gainer to Phillips. In the corner to Dominique Elliott. Too good, way too good.
Beautiful work. Don't think there was a stall count much above 2 there, Simon.
Yeah, Georgia Egan Griffiths, number 23, just never hangs on to the disc long, just already knows where it's going to go next before she's even got it. Daniel Clinton.
Yeah, just want to go back to halftime quickly, Simon. Steve Wright, coach of Ellipsis, called the girls in. As soon as they caught that point, normally you would see the teams go get a bit of a drink and then come together and have a chat. Not the case for Ellipsis. They've had a thing. As soon as you do something good, wrap it up, put it in your pocket. It doesn't exist anymore. You need to do the next good thing.
Yeah. High expectations from the coach. Steve Wright, of course, having coached these women before at age group representative levels. He's been a coach of the Australian under-23 women's team before. And this is his second season with Ellipsis as their head coach in the Nationals campaign. 9-6 the score now. It's been a 5-goal run from Ellipsis to storm into the lead in this gold medal match. Marr with the pull. Shires and Warman playing behind the disc now. Zone look again. 4 players around the disc. 2 just behind the back. And Caroline Marr all on her own. Deep in the field, off to the left of screen. Chang. Straight through the hands of Warman. I think they were just too complacent with those easy resets. Need to concentrate on everything, especially in a grand final. Marr has the shot for Ellipsis. 7 metres from goal. Puts the break backhand out to the advantage of Meehan. Meehan jumps up, takes it with 2 hands, but a pick's been called in the stack. And of course, it stayed in the air long enough for that play to definitely be affected, so Meehan agreeing. And we'll send it back to Marr. Manly now know they're trying to guard that top half of the field, but Marr will really work to get the throw around the hands of Taylor Carty there to try and hit that low side. So this battle is between the thrower and the marker here. See Carty adjusting that mark, but this time they've hit that open side with a quick 1-2. Jodie Palmer jumps it in for her first goal. And Ellipsis extend their lead. And the energy is up now. We thought it might have been a bit low early in the game. But plenty of noise now. Manly need to find some answers. They just need to get one of their offensive goals in, Laura.
Need to rally themselves, need to back themselves, need to settle back into that really composed Manly team that we saw first thing this morning. Looking to their experienced players to set the play, but then also relying on those people like Hannah Chen and Atoyo to come through the underspace and receive some of those great passes.
I think another thing they can look to do there, they're trying to think 2 or 3 passes ahead and not focusing on the one that is happening now, and it's leading to those skill errors that they're just killing them. They're turning the disc too close to their own end zone too early in their offensive possession. Phillips sends that pull deep and long. Shayna Strawn lets that roll. Got his own look again, quickly moves it to Reeve. Reeve lateral to Wentworth. Plenty of space. She's got Hannah Chen down the line, unguarded. Able to watch it in. Atoyo has to reach behind, but no defensive pressure there. Amy Chang. Ellipsis now locking on. Plenty of quick movement now. Reeve, 20 from goal. Wentworth able to gain a few metres. Amy Chang now. Reeve. 140, 140 out and puts the bullet through, but straight into the ground. She wasn't balanced on that throw.
Such a shame after such a good offensive run there from Manly.
Wanted the quick release. That window wasn't going to be open long. Phillips wants to get it out of there. Don't want to turn close to their own end zone. Yu provides that lateral option to this low side. Looks back to the middle. Way out of the reach of Eldred. Straight to Amy Chang for an easy intercept. Gets it back off Holly Reeve. Fairly chaotic offense and defense here. The defense is now set. Chen finds space on the near side. She's got a Toyo there in a sea of green and black jerseys, so they've got numbers on the high side. Chang skips Reeve straight to Wentworth. Reeve gets it around the back, finds a Toyo. 2 meters from goal now, they're close. Wentworth, centre field now. Options left and right, but goes middle to Itoyo. Patterson saw that coming, but couldn't get it. And Osaka Itoyo for her first goal. And Manly stop the bleeding and get it to 10-7. Chantel Jones.
I heard from the sideline here, Ellipsis coach had pulled one of the Ellipsis defenders out to one-on-one match Holly Reeve, which definitely left a gap in the middle of the zone, which is where they scored.
Yeah, and we saw Ellipsis transition to a match right at that end zone line there, trying to cut off all of the options. But Manly, using the breadth of their players there, passing it through as many hands as they could, taking a note from Ellipsis and keeping that disc moving, keeping it live.
I think the crucial play there was from Amy Chang. Usually to get lateral to that high side, you take 2 passes. But she saw a window there just to get it in one and got it over there so quickly to Sarah Wentworth that it just left the defense scrambling, and once it bounced back to the middle, Itoyo just camped herself right in that very front centre of the end zone.
And a couple of great grabs from Hannah Chen down this near sideline there, really being able to advance the disc up the field.
A couple of Manly's young players getting it done. This time they come down on defence. Shires with her hand up. Offense have her hand up. What are we all waiting for? Shires puts it straight down the middle. Meehan. Ma. Fung. Sends the backhand up. Ruby Anderson meets it high. Just like a couple of passes, Ellipsis are in their red zone. Fung. Unguarded, finds Meehan. Meehan into the corner, and Olivia Carr has started her celebration a fraction too early. Didn't watch the disc all the way into her hands.
Manly with a real chance here.
Manly could really do some damage if they're able to work it out of this corner. Shires. Up the line option to Anderson. Had a defender coming in from that left side, but took it comfortably. Bengtson shrugs the defense off. Shires. Anderson having to really stretch out for that one. Ditches the hat. Puts it out to the advantage of Shires. Shires can run on this comfortably. She's got numbers on the low side. Puts them wide. Backhand out. The groan of the crowd tells the story of the outcome of that one.
Beautiful work from Shires there to use the width of the field.
Kathleen Kershaw having to, knew it was really going to test her, that one. Couldn't do everything at once. Keep herself in bounds and get the disc. Meehan pumps it up, this time finding Carr. There has been a pick called, so this pass will have to be caught. She takes 2 goes at it, keeps it alive, but the disc is going to go back. Unfortunately, Carr can't believe it. She is. No. And Manly, Taylor Cardy there saying, nope, shouldn't have affected that because we were off on our own, well away from the rest of the offense and defense. So they're agreeing that it's going to stay with Carr, but Meehan has to go back to where she was when she threw it. She had streaked downfield to get it back. So Carr is going to start. Her nearest teammate is about 35 metres from her, so it's going to be a couple of seconds before anyone can get to her. She'll only have about 4 or 5 seconds, so this is going to be a foot race. They're all going to come charging from the left of screen. Steve Baker there, they're just asking him.
Play stops immediately, so it'll be stalling 1.
Stalling 1? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she'll have the full measure. And watch them all come. It's the final of the stall gift. Lucy Della. First one there. Gets the pass right on the goal line. Meehan. Dailywell out wide. Doesn't look at she's gone early, hasn't let go of it. Has travelled, had to come back. Ma. Flies it out to the low side. Fulham got numbers out there, puts it low. Lucy Della stretches. Can't reel it in.
Manly with another chance here, but they will have to work up the full length of the field.
That's a huge reprieve from Manly, having worked it all the way to the left end zone. Only to have one pass undo it all. Richards wanting to find Bengtson, but Ellipsis really cutting off that option. Nikki Shire sends the long backhand up. This is going to be close, and Della gets across, swats it out of the reach of Kathleen Kershaw.
Beautiful block there at full pace from Della.
Great work from our cameraman there on the sideline. Caroline Marr retrieves the disc from in among the spectators. Plants her pivot foot. Infield, 35 from goal. Meehan. Wide to Della. Teammates urging her to look at that near option, Mandy Fung, but that's covered by Shires. Goes inboard instead to Anderson. Ma sends the ball it up. Simar Dhaliwal jumps it inbounds and into goal. And that's Ellipsis' 11th.
Widening the gap out to 4 points difference here with just about 70 minutes on our clock.
Manly able to get the disc off Ellipsis that time. A couple of times they had their chances and they took them, but
the defense not being given a chance to set up on that second conversion. It looked very chaotic. It didn't look like any of the players had a really good match.
Yeah, they weren't able to lock down one half of the field, and it just meant Ellipsis were able to very easily go side to side and pick the corner. And as we saw, Simar Dhaliwal finding herself very free, completely unpressured, enough time to work out where she was. Jump from the centre field, take the catch, landing goal.
It is the first point of contact that counts in situations like those.
Yep.
So as long as your first point of contact is inside the end zone, it counts as a score.
Yep, once you have possession. Phillips. Giving a couple of last instructions to her teammates as they coordinate their defensive strategy. Puts the hand up, indicates that Manly's about to receive the pull. Perryman to field it. First easy pass to Warman. Reeve attacking that 45-degree angle. Has a couple looks at the end zone. Nice calm shot. Sarah Wentworth pedaling backwards. Lands on the goal line, which isn't in, but just having a chat about that now, whether Wentworth thinks she was in. The some of the crowd signalling goal. They're going to bring in Steve Baker and ask his opinion.
Jump before you caught and your feet landed just in.
Calling that a goal there. Watching the replay, her feet landing in as she was going backwards into the end zone.
Read that perfectly. Sarah Wentworth not bothered at all by the Ellipsis jersey charging towards her, and
Only had eyes for the disc there.
perfectly weighted shot by Reeve there. She's keeping her long throws lower and flatter today than we saw in the semi-final, so much tidier, much easier to read.
Much easier with just a gentle breeze here.
We saw Wentworth, she caught that backpedaling and then just through instinct went to put her, I think she has to return to the goal line to place her pivot foot and thought, hang on, if I'm back here, surely I was in. Daniel Clanton down on the sideline.
Just spoke briefly with Rachel Grinley, one of the injured Manly players. She said we need a few more points like that, need to play smarter, not harder.
That's exactly right.
Very wise strategy there.
Grinley we spoke to before the game. She'd love to be out there. Reeve for Manly. Giving instructions to her teammates as they decide who their defensive assignments are going to be. Jogs across to this bottom side of the field, which allows the backhand pull to drift towards the midfield or that high side. Phillips waits underneath it. First pass to Ma. Egan Griffiths. Phillips got Parks and Meehan striking towards the end zone. Egan Griffiths, and a injury is being called. A Manly player on the ground. So the stoppage called. We're not sure who that is down there. She might have, looks like it might be a lower leg injury, so helped up by teammates there. That's Taylor Carty there. Hopped off the field, yeah, we might have been a rolled ankle or something.
Could have been. She's also got her head down.
Yeah. So we see here she twisted about and yeah, went to change direction and yeah, just that.
Yep.
Just that rolled left ankle as she went to change direction. And Steph Bengtson, the substitution coming on. So they're just going to discuss where, as players will need to reset where the injury occurred, but it was called very quickly, so no one needs to move. Egan Griffiths with a quick restart. She's got Lear and me and deep.
Ellipsis with a quick score there.
She had plenty of room on Nikki Shires there, and that's 12-8. Ellipsis just 3 goals away from a 5th consecutive Australian Ultimate Championship. Daniel Clinton.
Yeah, Taylor Carty going down in that point, ankle injury. She's not looking good over here on the sideline.
It's devastating news for Manly, one of their better younger players, getting plenty of work done on defence for them today.
It is, and Manly having such a great mix there of experienced hands and also young talent, and bringing that young talent to tournaments like this to give them the experience to ensure that the club continues to build in the years to come.
So we tick over 75 minutes. We're not going to reach the 100-metre mark. This game likely to be over before then. We have seen Manly dig down and come from behind, but a 3-goal margin is doable. A 4-goal is a tough ask. They need to put this one in. They cannot afford a turnover. Warman knows that and hesitates on that first pass, wants to make sure of it. Again, they're paying her close attention in this zone defence. Wentworth now. Finds Banks through the middle, has to go full stretch. Just that insane defensive pressure from Ellipsis forcing that throw away. Meehan picks up. Lateral to Palmer. Got Fung by herself at the front. Wentworth covers her. Manly also bringing defensive pressure. No easy passes here available for Meehan. Heads sideways to Carr. Gets it back up the line. And Carr rushing that one as well. Out of the reach of Meehan.
Call from the sideline to reset that zone look that Ellipsis was putting on.
And the Manly downfield offense needs to adjust. They weren't ready for that one. Warman. Got Banks in centre field there. Wants to be the target. Warman, nothing inboard. Pops over the top to Wentworth. Wentworth swings to Moore. Moore too goes at it. The defense catches up. The defense has adjusted a little bit and prevented those easy lateral movements. Warman able to get the gainer. There's one Manly cutter gone deep. Wentworth finds that space on the wing as those defenders are drawn out. And this time they find House.
What a beautiful response to that Ellipsis zone by Manly.
And that was a great play by Laura House. She just sent it long to the end zone and she drew two Ellipsis defenders with her. And if you can do that deep, it means they've got space. Wentworth identified that space straight away. She's here, Bankson. Couldn't keep that last possession alive, and Carr just angled it too close into the ground for me. And so we see if we can see that other replay here. Moore having a couple of fumbles out of that.
Yeah.
We thought we'd gotten rid of that from earlier in the game, and yeah, Warmer popped it over the top to Wentworth, and I think it was Anderson there that had come in too close. Hollowbone was getting across, but completely unguarded goal for House.
And what we also saw there was Manly pulling 3 handlers back at that second attempt at the zone offense. That's done to give them more chance at lateral movement. Usually in a person-to-person defense, there would only be 2 handlers back with the disc.
Yeah. This is where it needs to begin. A defensive run from Manly. They cannot let Ellipsis get away from them. Shires sends a pull-up. She's held on to that for too long and has sent it just about onto field 2. She's not happy with herself from that one. So Ellipsis are going to take the brick. So means they'll bring it back. So they'll lose a bit of, they'll lose some yardage, but they get it in centre field. So
Avoiding getting trapped on that far sideline.
when we go to the wide shot, Phillips at the top of screen there. One out with Holly Reeve. Very obviously the target here. Gets that first pass. Tracy Chong has gone long. Egan Griffiths up the line. Sends it deep, looking for Alex Patterson. Does well, and she's kept her foot in bounds. The Ellipsis players are celebrating. Manly sideline signals goal. Great body control there by Alex Patterson, and great throw by Georgia Egan Griffiths.
Beautiful body awareness there to realise where the line was and just edge along that line, waiting for the disc to come back in.
That was a risky shot, and look at this. Patterson, she quick look down, moved her feet back, and catch first, everything else later. Did that very well, very happy with herself. Daniel.
Another update on Taylor Carty. She's going to rejoin the game. She came over, didn't even say anything to Di Warman, just nodded at Di. Di nodded back, and she's on the line now.
Chantel.
Yes, I was just watching the matchup with Holly Reeves. A cracking effort out there, but just no match for Kat Phillips's athleticism.
She did manage to push Phillips into that high side of the field, which I think was Manly's aim, to try and pin it on a sideline, but also a very adept thrower. One of the most accomplished ultimate players, not in Australia, but in the world.
Just coming off her AFLW season with the Saints.
Perryman to field the pull for Manly. Warman. Ellipsis running with his zone again. They've got dropped 3 handlers back. No one available on that top side now, so Reeve can only really look forward or inboard. Wentworth gets the gainer, pushes wide. Warman winds up. She's got 2 receivers deep. They've completely lost track of that one. Alicia Bombardier having to look over her head. I think she might have lost that in the sun. Amy Barnes trying to chase it down, but it's gone out of bounds. And Ellipsis will have a chance to get their 14th goal. Caroline Marr taking her time to walk to the field. All the cutters in a very tight bunch. Centre field to open up space Forward, backward, left and right. Cuts come from everywhere. Meehan, space at the front. No one coming towards her. Reeve is really playing out in that space. It's a high stall count. Dhaliwal's going to chase this one, and Della. But that was good guarding. She just had to get rid of that one. Too high in the stall count to look for an easy option, so just go for territory. Reeve sends the go fetch, swing pass to Warman. Warman, hammer shot to Reeve. Can't get to it, and that's a turnover.
Well within Ellipsis's red zone.
So Ma is going to pick up the disc. They're going to isolate Dhaliwal, one out towards the disc, then away. Meehan attacks that front corner. Ma doesn't like any of it, goes short to Della. Della, hammer shot to Dhaliwal. And there's the goal. It's now 14-9. They are 1 goal away.
5 points in it. Such a turn from the start of the game, Simon.
It was Manly that jumped out to a couple of goal lead, but Ellipsis dug their heels in, clawed it back, went on a run, took half. And it looks like, once again, this club cannot be stopped. No one's celebrating yet, though. Job still to be done.
Manly did come from behind yesterday to take their semi against Rogue.
Dhaliwal with their second goal and charged straight into Lucy Della to say thank you very much for that one.
Della and Dhaliwal were the two receivers for that long throw that didn't come off just before, getting their redemption there.
Phillips sends the pull. Shires. Tupper. Reeve. Zone look again. Shires looking up, nods. Itoyo getting involved. Shires lateral to Reeve. Nothing available through the middle there. There's going to take 1 or 2 metres at a time. Shires sends it over the top. Cardi there, she's come back on the field. The adrenaline overcoming the pain. Gets clipped by Phillips on the way through. Straight away says uncontested. Sorry about that one. And Cardi will have the disc. She's got a Toyo ahead of the one out with Egan Griffiths. She might have a quick look before the rest of the defense can get there. So we saw, yeah, completely unintentional, just trying to get past as Cardi whipped her arm out for that forehand look. Taps it in. Immediately looks to reset Shires. Looks for a 45-degree angle. Pass, can't find one. Reeve to Moore. Moore's got a backhand look. Sends the fake. Great marking here by Vino. She can't get anything forward, has to go back to Shires. Cardi. And Meehan with the run through D. It's been 2 years since we've crowned the national champion. A cancelled nationals, a cancelled world championships. Meehan. This is their shot now. Players spread all over the field. Itoyo goes long. Egan Griffiths. High swing pass out to Ma. Ma's got to look at Olivia Carr. Kat Phillips streaking towards the end zone. Vino puts her hand up, says, I'm the safe one. Ma now pumps it up, looking for Kat Phillips. And the dynasty continues. Ellipsis, 5 Australian championships in a row. They've done it for another year.
Unbelievable.
The dominance of the Australian ultimate scene continues, and Manly, for a second year in a row, have to settle for silver.
What a great effort from Manly there, though, as we watch them all come onto the field, holding each other's shoulders.
We said that last play, there was no one else is going to be the target. It was always going to be Phillips.
We can see there the excitement from Ellipsis as they get around each other. Unprecedented. 5 in a row
So we head down to Daniel Clinton with Jodie Palmer from the winning team.
Jodie, 5 in a row. What does it all mean to you?
It really means so much. I think like with everything that people from Melbourne and Victoria have been through in the last year, like we trained so hard for nationals last year, and about a month out it got cancelled, and we were all just devastated. And we spent most of last year in lockdown. We couldn't play any frisbee, we couldn't train or anything. And I just think back to like September last year, I was doing like bodyweight workouts in my house. I couldn't even go outside. And yeah, we've just put in so much work for this season. It's been really challenging. We haven't been able to play any interstate tournaments in the lead up to nationals, and so we didn't really know what to expect coming out here. But Manly really pushed us in our pool play game yesterday, and they were really, really tough today. We were a little bit nervous when they got up 6-3 in the first half, and it was a bit stressful, but when our coach talked to us, he just said that we just need to believe in ourselves and just look after each other and keep our heads up, and yeah, we managed to come away with it. So yeah, we're pretty stoked.
It looks like it. Jodie, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on another national title.
Thank you.
Simon, back to you.
And we've got Chantel Jones down there with Holly Reeve from Manly.
I sure do. Holly, my personal MVP. How do you feel about the game?
Obviously very disappointed in the outcome. I think this is a rivalry that's kind of been building for a while, and it's great that we had a competitive game in the round robin yesterday, and we're hoping to get the scoreline a bit closer, I think, but really we've been very proud of all the girls and like everything they've done and put in towards the season, and that was most of what we spoke about in our timeouts or our half times, was just like, yeah, putting it all out here today, and I think everyone's properly gassed, which means we did try our hardest. Just pretty unfortunate we couldn't pop it in enough times.
Absolutely. I think the first half of your game was so commendable, up 6-3, 6 smashing goals. It's an epic effort. Thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you next season, hopefully in the final again.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. We are going to head to a short break, and then we will be back with the men's final.